Hey guys, what up? Total Control 871, and today we are reviewing A Quiet Place. Okay, so it was a nifty little movie. Unfortunately, like I've been saying for some time now, Hollywood is positively rife with left-wing liberalism. This movie was no exception. It seems like every last single movie that rolls out of Hollywood these days has to have its standard complement of liberal agenda. Has to. If it doesn't have its standard complement, then the movie just apparently doesn't get made. So, I'm not going to do any spoilers here, although, I think you guys pretty much know the concept. The creatures are indeed bat-like. I was pretty much, even before I saw the movie, I was pretty much expecting that, something with that kind of acoustic acuity, that it would have to be something, on par of that, of a bat. Basically, their entire head flanges open to like be this, super duper sonic conducting acoustic device and all this. Now, that's not terribly hard to believe. You don't have to suspend your disbelief that much. True, the bat-like creatures are like giant, they're like huge, gigantic bat-like creatures, large enough to like take a horse or a cow, which, by the way, the movie is completely devoid of. Presumably, by the time the movie opens up 89 days into whatever has happened, into the siege, the invasion, whatever you want to call it. It's 89 days in, and there are like no animals. Now, later in our movie, they do indeed go on to talk about how larger sounds will attract the beast, the animals, the creatures, over smaller sounds. Okay, the planet is just chuck-nut full of sound, both artificial, man-made, animal-made, which presumably is what happens to all the, well, horses, dogs, and anything else that would make a noise, Believe it or not, the part of the movie that kind of gets, as far as the creatures go, it gets a little strange or unbelievable is that you're trying to sell me the idea that a creature that exists so heavily dependent on sound, that it's just going to be sound and sound alone. Apparently these creatures have zero ability to echolocate. Even being modeled off of a bat, that makes no sense. So yeah, you could be like a human, standing like, a couple of feet away from them, and if you're completely silent, they won't know you're there. Of course, that's completely ridiculous. If you're modeling this thing off of a bat or something like that. Matter of fact, there have even been cases of humans, deaf humans, that will make a clicking sound with their mouth, and they have the ability to echolocate. So that kind of made it a little bit hard to believe. Yeah, the movie just totally filled with its liberal agenda. I guess we're starting off with, one of the children are deaf, so here we go with able disabled. Yay. Hey, don't get me wrong, I'm a disabled man that would love to have certain employment protections myself. But, his daughter, my God, she was just such a fucking bitch, man. I'm sorry, I don't know if that was your intention, but you created a character that was extremely unlikable. The teen angst, okay? The moody teen angst shit. Okay, I think we see our movie, it begins, it opens up with their youngest child, like a, I don't know, what, 2-year-old or some shit like that. 2 or 3, he's older than that, about maybe 3 years old, 3 or 4. And they're just, oh hey, he's just gonna run around the store all by himself, you know, in the deserted, apocalyptic-like store, all by himself. Why are the parents not keeping them, like, you know, within arm's distance at all times? So there was a lot of that questionable parenting, that you know, weird shit. But then again, hey, I suppose you could chalk it up to reality. The other day, I was cutting through a parking lot, and I saw a child basically the same age, 3 or 4 years old. Oh, hey, they're going to let him rip, roar, and race around in a parking lot where cars are coming and going. Why not, right? Why not? And, of course, massive, massive anti-Second Amendment sentiment is in this movie. If I'm not going to give a whole bunch of spoilers, but I'll put it to you like this. 1 gunshot gets made in this movie. Now, granted, I understand gunshots are incredibly loud, and true, I get how you know, you will attract more of these creatures. I get all that. But here's the thing. As the movie progresses, we learn that these creatures, while very strong, they're not indestructible. Basically, it looks from what I understand, pretty much almost, you know, maybe some of your higher, you know, I don't know if a 22 would be enough to take them out, unless you gave them like a headshot, you know. But yeah, pretty much anything that looks like, so something that would maybe put a bear on its ass, you know. The movie never ever gets around to, number 1, saying where they came from, how they came to be. Okay, maybe you want to keep that as a mystery, you know, chalk it up to artistic and you know, interpretation. Okay, all right. But then there are just so many things that are left, you know, how the creatures are dealt with. I won't say how, I don't want to spoil the movie, but it's like, I don't get it. If they're not Superman strong, it's not like they can, you know, punch through 2 inches of sheet steel. You know, they're not that strong. So we have several military bunkers, perhaps even several private citizen bunkers. I suppose could even be argued, maybe even certain retail stores, you know, they really wouldn't be able to get, although they have big glass doors and windows, so I guess so. But the point is that they're not incredibly super strong. They are very fast, but they're not, you know, inhumanly fast. It leaves you to wonder, why did the army not go around just simply, hey bees, bang, hey bees, bang? You know, it's like all you gotta do is attract, kill. Why wasn't this done? Is there some sort of incredibly fast reproductive cycle? I've seen documentary on locusts. When a swarm of them are on the move, they will indeed, that swarm, that massive swarm, they are also, not only are they eating, but they're also in the process of breeding. You should check it out. It's really wild. Like it's so ferocious. The mating, and they stick their abdomen in the ground and lay eggs, and sometimes they're so ferocious and fast, and they can't even get the abdomen in the ground, and they just simply, for lack of a better term, just basically ejaculate their eggs all over the ground and shit. So anyway, it leaves a lot of things. I mean, there's a lot of questions in your mind, like, hey, so when you go to watch the movie, you're like, okay, so I would deal with these creatures in this way, like a list of options, and at the end of the movie, none of your options are dispelled. You know, we see at the end of the movie, they're trying very hard to say, science can prevail. We don't need the Second Amendment. Well, again, I'm not going to give away the movie, but the pickup truck scene toward the end, things would have gone a little differently if you had a gun. Just saying. And yeah, you know, also, you know, again, going back to these creatures being modeled after bats, I don't know, were they trying to infuse a little bit of vampire folklore into their incarnation here? If so, for those of you who, I mean, I've watched a couple of documentaries on vampire folklore. Believe it or not, most movies highly exaggerate the vampire's appetite. It's actually said that vampires, you know, before movies and shit existed, so as folklore was going around, campfire stories and things like that, you know, that vampires would really only eat maybe once or twice a month, you know, so villagers, you know, once some hapless soul was descended upon, then villagers would actually breathe a sigh of relief, and things would mill about, you know, quite freely in daytime and at night. You know, the vampire has eaten, and we're going to be good for the next couple of weeks, you know. So maybe like around the full moon, you know, we've got that kind of folklore. So once a month, that's when things get a little skittish. And anyway, but yes, my point in saying all that, how much do these creatures need to eat? Jesus H. Christ. I mean, presumably you've devoured every last single animal on the face of the earth. Apparently the only thing left that they catch and eat now are fish. So again, we can we see more liberal agenda. No red meat. So no guns, no red meat. You know, off the grid living. You know, but it does. You did not answer any of the questions that a lot of people were wondering, you know, and I guess maybe they just simply say, well, that's part of the allure, that's part of the storytelling process. You know what I think? I think it's just simply more evidence of a Hollywood that's gone to shit, okay? I think it's a Hollywood that's just simply been completely infested with your young millennial staff writers, you know. It's just simply all gone to shit. Nobody can really seem to write a good movie anymore. And of course, it's the little girl, the little disabled deaf girl. She saves the day, you know, with science power. Science and disability, woo! And girl power, don't forget that, alright. Little Miss Me Too, but yes, I could say some more shit about, you know, fucked up things that you did in the... Never mind. Like I said, I'm not going to spoil the movie. But yeah, so, alright, so that was A Quiet Place. Bat-like creatures, hypersonic hearing. Apparently, they don't have the ability to echolocate, which is very strange if you're going to model the creature after a bat. And apparently, these bat-like creatures have some of the most voracious, ravenous appetites on the face of the earth. I don't understand. How much do you possibly need to eat? You know? Alright, that's it. I'm done. Alright, I'll take this back to the red box, and there you go. I think what will I do? I think I'm trying to think of what I want to eat. I think I'll go and have some I think I'll get some fried chicken from the old Acme. They make some pretty damn good chicken. All right. I am feeling, I'm probably foolishly feeling optimistically cautious. But you know, I normally I would, like, snap out of it, Amir. You're only kidding yourself, but I allow this feeling of hope to run in a contained little circle within myself. At the very least, it will function to help the compartmentalization so that I can continue to function and to fight the charge. Yeah. So I'll tell you when I go to in the next episode, when I go to do the I'll show you guys the amateur brief for Lord of the Lies, Robert Shepard's. I'll discuss with you probably the granddaddy of them all, jailhouse attorneys, Sean Hopwood. Wow. He was able to get his, not for himself, he was never able to do anything for himself, but he was able to help fellow inmates, taking some briefs all the way to the very tippity-top United States Supreme Court. The only thing is that Sean Hopwood had 12 years to do this. I suppose in 12 years I'd be able to write an attorney quality brief as well. Unfortunately, I don't have 12 years. My time is very short, and it's quickly running out. Alright, enough of that. We're going to see what we can do to take the fight to the next stage. Alright guys, that's it for now. Total Control 871.